Karanjan-san here. 6 months ago, I made a video as to why I became Muslim. I'm remaking this video because, for one, a lot has changed since I made it. I want to clarify some misunderstandings that were in the video. I want to add more information and answer a lot of your questions. To my subscribers or to anyone who knew me before, it was very surprising that I became Muslim. I grew up non-religious. My grandma was very Christian and she tried to take me to Bible school or Sunday school. I went, but I never really actually believed. In high school, I was an atheist. I completely believed in science, and throughout my whole life, I could never really see myself being into religion. However, at the same time, I was always very open to religious people. I never discriminated and I often defended Islam. I was educated when it came to this kind of stuff, and I never had the bad image that the media currently paints of Islam. Since I was a child, my favorite country was Saudi Arabia. I had this globe and I used to spin it around. My finger always landed on Saudi Arabia and I had this fascination with the country. I liked the shape of the country, the name sounded cool. To a 5-year-old girl with a wild imagination, it's not so strange that this is the reason why I developed an interest in a country. Now, in my original video I made, people got a little bit confused and thought that because of this experience as a child, this is the reason why I chose Islam. No. The reason why I mentioned this because I just thought it was very interesting how at a very young age I was drawn to Saudi Arabia. As I got older, I obviously learned more about Saudi Arabia. I got interested in the food, the architecture, and the landscape of Saudi Arabia. But Saudi Arabia is not the reason why I reverted. After I reverted, I thought about it and I look back and it's almost as if it was my destiny. In my original video, I said that I did not like the path that I was on and I wanted to change something in my life. That's true, but this statement confused a lot of people. A lot of people heard this and they thought that I was just lost and I went looking for Islam. But I want to clarify, I did not realize how lost I was until I found Islam. I went to the bookstore one day and I bought the English version of the Quran. I started to read it, and the more and more I read, the more I felt that it was the truth. Some people might not know this, but the Quran is backed by a lot of science. The Quran was sent down 1400 years ago at a time where people couldn't possibly know. Scientific discoveries that have only been made within the last 100 or 50 years. And the text of the Quran has not changed, unlike the Bible and other religious texts. Some people got confused in my original video and said to me, hey, I thought you were a woman of science. How can you say that you're interested in science? You know, obviously the Big Bang is true. It's been proved by science. The Big Bang is in the Quran. The Quran talks about how the universe was created, how it expands. It talks about creatures evolving from water, the continental shifts, how the ozone layer protects us. This information cannot be possibly known to a human from 1400 years ago. However, there's one particular verse in the Quran that mentions that really hit the spot, and when I read this, I really knew this is the real religion. We sent down iron. The language of the Quran is very precise. It doesn't say we created iron, it says we sent it down. For those of you who do not know, iron does not originate from the earth. The energy and heat needed to produce iron cannot be produced on Earth. Earth was struck by meteorites sent down from space. Such information was only recently discovered. So how is it possible that somebody from 1400 years ago was able to know this information? Since reverting to Islam, my life has changed a lot. And since I made my original video 6 months ago, a lot has changed. I originally said that I wasn't going to wear a hijab 100% of the time, and that I wasn't interested in wearing it at places like the beach. That actually has changed. Nobody influenced me, nobody told me, nobody forced me. This is something that I just did on my own. Now, some people have wondered, is my YouTube channel going to be dedicated to dawah? Am I going to change the whole theme? Is this going to be an Islamic channel? No, and I said this in my previous video, that my videos are still going to be about Japan. Of course, I'm a Muslim girl and I can talk about my experiences in Japan, and I will have relevant Islamic videos to Japan, but the theme is still Japan, and that has never changed and never will change. I hope this video explains to you more in depth as to why I reverted. I really just needed to remake this video because I felt like the old video just didn't have the right information.